everyone out there in Podlayer land, and welcome to our first ever episode of The Mojo Show. My name is Jailene, and I'll be guiding you through these series. So who am I? Well, I'm a Podlayer producer and an advanced student with a Mojo reading accuracy level of 90% plus. The Mojo Show is affiliated with our flagship show, Podlayer Planet. So what is this show about? This show is about topics such as Mojo, Mojo reading, social alchemy that are related to the Mojo Dojo pathway, and also a bit of Mojo journalism. This episode is going to be a class orientation. So we're going to be talking about Mojo a lot during this series. So where do you begin? You begin with learning how to read Mojo. So that's where we're going to start. The methodology that we use here in Podlayer is called the 5 gears of Mojo reading. In 5 gears, what we do is correlate the physiological manifestations that humans have to cognitive functioning and processes. So as I said, we have 5 gears. We start off with the first gear. The first gear is all about the pod powers and being able to see those, like being able to spot different colors in an artist's palette. We have 8 powers, 8 pod powers we call them, and they are actually, we correlate them to different colors. So think of it as an artist's palette and gaining your, fashioning your lens to be able to see those colors in the human palette. So to start seeing that difference between the different pod powers, that artist's palette, I brought in Adimas. So he'll be helping me out today with showing the distinction between Jai and Ji pod power. I have Jai and Adimas has Ji. So we call the way we refer to Jai versus Ji difference is Jai unaware versus Ji aware, and that is because of what the powers are designed to do, or how they function, makes it so that the Jai has an unaware expression and the Ji has an aware expression. Let's bring Adimas closer here. See,
she's getting aware all of a sudden.
Yes. So Jai, because it's internally resonating, it has an unaware expression because it's not really meant to be connecting or conveying a message that will directly move the social dynamics. It's more internally resonating. And the Ji though is supposed to be moving and connecting with those social dynamics, so it's aware and aware to the audience. So this is what Jai and Ji
looks like.
The reason why we chose to highlight Ji and Jai first is that they are the values-based powers, and so they are responsible for the emotive expressioning of the faces. So it's something that is very notable in people's expressions, so a good place to start. One more thing to note for Jai versus Ji is that you'll see when the muscles are moving of the face that they will have different looks with Ji and Jai. So for Jai, you'll see that even as I'm not just the shape of the mouth where the Jai expresses itself, but also in the way that the muscles move, it will have more of a downturn movement or angle. Whereas with the Ji, like Adimas, when he articulates or expresses, and that will be shared with other Ji users, it will have an upward trend and angle movement. So look for that. Now we move on to Gear 2. Gear 2, as you know, is about the 2 powers creating a field. So we'll highlight it using me. I'm an adaptive, so I start with the right field over the left directive field, whereas Coach here, he is a directive, meaning he starts on the left field of
my Ji,
Nai and the Ji, and has the adaptive as his second one.
Side B.
So one of the cues that it will express itself in is the yin versus the yang gesturing. So for me, being an adaptive first, I'll have, and you'll see this throughout all the filmings, I have the yin gesturing as natural, and yin gesturing, as you know, soft of wrists, back of the hands, and not conducting, not going out into the
more
personal.
Gumby-ish.
Yeah.
There's more soft.
More soft, because it's not conducting, and it does not as comfortable coming out of the personal field.
I also have that because I'm a human, so I also do those same gestures. But you'll notice that it's altered state. There's still tension, so although I'm doing adaptive motion, there's still part of me that's resisting the adapting, and that's this field over here. This larger directive field is resisting being completely adaptive. I'm trying now. See, I'm flopping them, but they're not like hers. They're not loose like that. I can't make them do that.
Magic. So natural, I have natural yin gesturing, whereas Coach has altered yin gesturing. For him, the natural is yang gesturing, which is more rigid of wrist. It's conductor-like. It is very comfortable coming out of the personal range into the group environment. You'll see that with all of the directive mojos, they share that. And there'll be like variations within that, but they do share the yang gesturing traits. Whereas for me, when I do yang gesturing, it looks what we call altered. So it's not my natural state. And so you'll still see the softness, you'll still see the rolling of the wrists, which is indicative of that yin gesturing. But it doesn't mean that I won't do it or that other adaptives won't do yang gesturing. There are actually some riffs of adaptives that actually do use a lot of yang gesturing because of different conditionings, different experiences in life, but it still will not look natural, and natural as Coach does it, and vice versa. And so you'll see this expressed.
That when they're talking, they're very like deferring, and so they use a lot of the yin gesturing, but at no point will it look like hers, and that's what the reading she's going to help you learn and teach you. You'll still see it. Yeah. Even if the Jaini is never ever actually doing a yin gesture the whole time, the yinness will still come through, even in the yang gesture.
Yep. Now we get into gear 3. And gear 3 at this point, it's not just referring to one single power like gear 1 or the 2 powers that comprise a field like gear 2. We're at this point talking about the powers, the pod powers that are manifesting in a person that you're reading, and the conflagration of cues that these pod powers comprise, and also the distinct signals then that person is giving off because of that conflagration and because of the how those pod powers that the person has are playing and the signals that they're sending out. In order to show you what a conflagration is and how it comes about, I'm going to use myself as an example. As a Jaini, I have the powers of Jai, Ni, Vi, and Zi as conscious, which means that I am an adaptive, I am subjective, I am a lead discerner, I'm values-based, and I'm interpretive. All my powers and my fields, they give themselves away. How do they give themselves away? Let's look at a Jai. I have the unaware Jai expression. That's a giveaway. The Ni, the dancing eyes, the Ni dancing eyes, that's another giveaway. With the Vi, you have the checks to the left. That's a dead giveaway. And with Z, the cool articulation, the jutting, the anvil, that's a dead giveaway. Here are some other examples of Jaini women who will share the same kinds of conflagrations as I do, which I just pointed out to you. They are Adele Atkins, Joan Allen, Gillian Anderson, Gabrielle Anwar, Christina Applegate, Patricia Arquette, Joan Baez, Kathy Baker, Kate Beckinsale, and Maria Bello. All of them will share those conflagrations that all Jaini have, so look for that. Next we have Jaini males. Now they'll have similar conflagrations as the Jaini females, but there'll be some variance because they are male versus female, so there's some difference there. So when you look at these different people that I'm about to list off to you, you'll notice that they have this shared conflagration of cues, and here they are. You have Alan Alda, Gael Garcia Bernal, Michael Serra, Clifton Collins Jr., John Cryer, Robert Downey Jr., Paul Giamatti, Jack McBrayer, Giovanni Ribisi, and Sam Rockwell. All awesome Jaini male, and you'll notice those similar conflagrations because they are that same mojo. Next up we have Jaini females. Now what you'll notice with them, you'll notice some similarities to the Jaini, but you'll get some other cues, some different cues within their conflagrations because they do have a different tandem power. And so here are some examples of Jaini women. You have Jessica Alba, Halle Berry, Helena Christensen, Penelope Cruz, Megan Fox, Beyonce Knowles, Juliette Lewis, Madonna, Rihanna, and Gwen Stefani. They will all share the same configuration of cues because they are all Jaini. And here are some examples of Jaini males. You have Rafael Nadal, Ronaldinho, and Casper Smart. They'll all share the same configurations. Next up we have Jaini female. Now you'll notice again these have the same configuration of cues, and here they are: Naomi Campbell, Miley Cyrus, Star Jones, S. Apatha Murkison, Felicia Rashad, Julia Roberts, Sharon Stone, Gabriella Union, Ming Na Wen, and Oprah Winfrey. Of the Jaini male, also sharing that same configuration of cues that Jaini male do. You have Simon Baker, Josh Bernstein, Richard Branson, Pierce Brosnan, Matt Damon, Rashad Evans, Michael Fassbender, Andy Garcia, Barack Obama, and Jon Stewart. Next I'm going to list off some Jivai female, which will have similar cues as the Jaini female, but again will have some major differences because of that different tandem power, so you'll see a different configuration of cues with them. So you have, for Jivai, you have Tyra Banks, Giselle Bundchen, Julie Chen, Ann Curry, Teresa Giudice, Carrie Ann Inaba, Kris Jenner, and Jennifer Lopez, all Jivai female. Next up, Jivai male. With Jivai male, you have David Hasselhoff, Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, and Joe Theismann, all sharing the same configuration of cues. Next up, the Nez world. Let's start off with the Naiji males. They'll all share the same type of configuration of cues. Who are they? Let's see. We have Paul Thomas Anderson, Alec Baldwin, Robert Carlyle, David Chappelle, Bill Clinton, Daniel Day-Lewis, Eminem, Ian McKellen, George St. Pierre, and Christopher Walken, all sharing those Naiji male cues. With Naiji females, they'll have the same configurations but expressed differently again because it's in the female gender. You have Kathy Bates, Jessica Biel, Blair Brown, Coco Chanel, Judi Dench, Scarlett Johansson, Diane Kruger, Natalie Portman, Laura Prepon, J.K. Rowling, and Anna Torv, all Naiji women. Moving on to Naiji women now. Now they'll have similar conflagration of Qs to the Naiji female, but again, it will be different because of that tandem power. So who do we have for that? We have Chelsea Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Tina Fey, Michelle Forbes, Chelsea Handler, Joan Jett, Ellen Page, Jada Pinkett Smith, Noomi Rapace, and Sigourney Weaver. All Naiji women, and so when you look at them, you'll see that shared configuration of Qs. How about the Naiji male? You can't leave them out. You have Christian Bale here, Simon Cowell, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Ice-T, Jeremy Irons, Jay-Z, David Letterman, Viggo Mortensen, Clive Owen, Zachary Quinto, and Joe Rogan. So again, you'll see those Naiji shared conflagration of Qs with these different Naiji males. Now let's talk about the adaptiveness. So we'll start off with Nijai female. They'll all have that same conflagration of Qs. Who do we have there? We have Christina Aguilera, Jennifer Aniston, Miranda Baccarin, Lucille Ball, Juliette Binoche, Alison Brie, Sandra Bullock, Carrie Byron, June Carter Cash, Jade Castrinos. Next up, Nijai male. They'll all share the same configuration of Qs. So who are they? Russell Brand, Mark Dacascos, Joel Grey, Josh Holloway, Grant Imahara, Hugh Jackman, Chris Kattan, Martin Short, Justin Timberlake, and Vilma Valderrama, just to give you an idea of who the Nijai male would look like, and so you can start honing in on what that configuration of Qs looks like in real life. Well, what about Nijai female? Nijai female, they'll have that similar configuration of Qs again. Who are they? We have Joey Lauren Adams, Malin Akerman, Krista Allen, Carol Alt, Madchen Amick, Lonnie Anderson, Samir Armstrong, Jesse Arrington, Coco Austin, Millie Avital, Fairuza Balk, and Ellen Barkin. Again, take a look at them. They're all Nijai. We'll share those configuration of Qs. As for Nijai male, we have Will Arnett, Hank Azaria, Steve Carell, Jim Carrey, Stephen Colbert, Alan Cummings, Chris Frangiola, Bill Gates, Conan O'Brien. Take a look at these. You'll notice all of these Nijai male configuration of Qs. Onto the Zez realm. We start off with Zaini female. Zaini female, they're all going to be sharing configuration Q. We have Jean Davis, Ariane Friedrich, Ashley Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen, and Mary Kate Olsen. Then we have Zaini males. Okay, they'll have the same kind of configuration of Qs. We have Tom Baker, Macaulay Culkin, John Delancey, Robert England, Jeff Goldblum, Doug Jones, Stephen Merchant, Bill Nye, the science guy, David C. Page, Jim Parsons, Martin Rees, and Pavlo Siljamaki. What about the Zai-V female? They'll share a lot of the cues that the Zaini female do, but they'll look different. You'll have different things because of that V tandem power. So with Zai-V female, we have Kim Cloisters, Elena Dementieva, Nikki Hilton, Yelena Yankovic, Liz Fair, Daenerys Safina, Carrie Walsh, Serena Williams, and Venus Williams. All Zai-V female. On to Zai-V male. Zai-V male sharing that same configuration of cues that all all Zybe male do. Some of them, here we have Mike Amarati, David Attenborough, Joseph Campbell, Vinnie DiMartino, Clint Eastwood, Al Gore, Hugh Hefner, Jamie Heineman, Stan Lee, and Rick Petco, all Zybe male. In the directive Zez camp, we're starting off with Xeni female. So here are some Xeni female that share that same configuration of cues. We have Maria Bartiromo, Carol Bartz, Natalie Battaglia, Joy Behar, Sue Decker, Susie Essman, Melinda Gates, Ariana Huffington, Rosie O'Donnell, Sarah Seeger, and there you go, Xeni female. In the Xeni male camp we have Terry Bradshaw, Dick Butkus, Jay Glazer, Zahi Hawaz, Jimmy Johnson, Howie Long, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ryan Seacrest, Donald Trump, Jesse Ventura, all sharing that Xeni male configuration of cues. On the Vez side of the equation, we have, starting off with Zybe female. So, what's a Zybe female going to look like? How do you pick up their configuration of cues? Take a look at Gretchen Carlson, Sarah Ferguson, Michelle Malkin, Sarah Palin, and Andrea Tanteros, all Zybe females. Take a look. Then you have Zybe males. Zybe males, what do they look like? Have Michael Bisping, Sean Hannity, Terry Shepard, Matt Serra, Brian Stanton. Take a look at them. Zybe males. Now we're in the Vez side of the equation. Let's start off with Zybe female. What do Zybe female look like? How can you spot their configuration of cues? Well, take a look at Pamela Anderson, Drew Barrymore, Rachel Bilson, Ariane Celeste, Kelly Clarkson, Cameron Diaz, Goldie Hawn, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Kim Kardashian, Little Kim, and Hayden Panettiere. All Zybe. Take a look, soak up that scent, that configuration of cues. How about Zybe male, you may ask? For Zybe male, take a look at John Gosselin and David Salmoni. They'll share those same configuration of cues as the Zybe female that you took a look at, but you know, with that little different spice of their men. So I'll add some differences there that we'll get into in later episodes. Staying with the adaptive Vez mojos, let's look at Zybe females. So what does a Zybe female look like? How can you spot her? How can you start soaking up those configuration of cues? Take a look at Layla Ali, Victoria Beckham, Paris Hilton, Brooke Hogan, Shawn Johnson, Misty May Traynor, and Kendra Wilkinson. All awesome Zybe females. Take a look at them, soak it in, get those signals coming into your brain. And what do Zybe males look like? Okay, let's see. Charles Barkley, George W. Bush, John Caparulo, Craig Ferguson, Bear Grylls, Terry Hulk Hogan, Kevin James, Jay Leno, Brock Lesnar, Shaquille O'Neal. Take a look at them. Those are all Zybe males. Soak it in. How about directive Vez, you might ask? Glad you asked. We're starting off with Zybe female. What do Zybe female look like? How can you soak in their configuration of cues? Well, take a look at Barbara Boxer, Margaret Carlson, Liz Cheney, Lynn Cheney, Marsha Clark, Shannon Doherty, Kate Goslin, Padma Lakshmi, Joan London. All of them are Zybe female, and you could start picking up on those cues. For Zybe males, the way you can pick up on that Zybe maleness is take a look at Yasser Arafat, Tom Brokaw, Reggie Bush, Carl Cameron, Kirk Cameron, Tracy, Dick Cheney, Dick Clark, Anderson Cooper, Nick Diaz, Bernie Goldberg, Mike Huckabee, Bill O'Reilly, all of them by Gmail. All of them share that same configuration of queues. Take a look, you'll start seeing it. About VIZ females. How do you spot those? What's your frame of reference? For that, take a look at Sally Ride. Right now, we don't have more than one, but we know that when we get into different fields that are outside of the public eye, we're expecting to see a lot more VIZ female. But for now, take a look at Sally Ride, start getting an idea of what a VIZ female looks like. You start soaking that in, and then look for more. Last but not least, we have VIZ males. How can you start spotting VIZ males? What's your frame of reference? Well, take a look at Troy Aikman, Buzz Aldrin, Richard Armitage, Lance Armstrong, Hank Baskett, David Beckham, Larry Bird, Bjorn Borg, Tom Brady, Bob Bryan, and Mike Bryan. All VIZ male. Take a look and start soaking in those cues and configurations.